and welcome to a genealogically New Year episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Catherine Weigel. I am one of your New Year's hosts.
Yeah.
I have lost over hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I am a Tiny Habit certified coach. I am
Hundreds and hundreds.
Well, over time it has been.
Yeah.
And it is New Year, and with me today is
Baby New Year. No, it's Donald Weigel.
Oh. Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
The look on your face. Oh, my goodness. If this was a video. Hello, it is Donald Weigel. It is Middle-Aged Man New Year. And you are listening to We Only Look Thin. And I am one of your hosts. And I also have lost hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
If we added it all up.
Added all up over years. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it would be ridiculous. But I've lost about 100 pounds. And we are here to talk about it. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year 23 and me and
yeah.
you and our dear listeners. And,
for sure. Not a sponsor, by the way.
No, but the only thing genealogical about this is that sometimes we illogically think that a genie is magically going to make all of our New Year's wishes come true.
Yeah, I like what you do there. Like, we think that we're going to wake up January 1st.
Yeah.
And all of the motivation of the new year will wash over us, and we will become brand new people overnight.
Brand new. But by the way, if you're listening to this on New Year's Day or New Year's the second day of the year.
Yeah, January 2nd when it comes out.
You are as fun as we are.
Yeah.
You are a fun person.
Yeah, welcome. We appreciate you being here and listening whenever you're listening to this episode.
We do, but there are many types of New Year people, aren't there, Donald?
Sure. Yes.
You might be like us, who we are still recovering. We are still sick.
Yeah,
and
I have been sick for about 3 weeks now, and it's not fun. But I'm here for you people.
Yeah, and so there might be a little nasally voice. There might be a little.
Yeah.
It might sound a little
not
raspy.
Not in my best voice, I don't think.
No, but you know what? I think.
Hey, maybe you'll like it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to just change it forever.
Yeah, maybe.
Auto tune it. Is that what they do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We auto tune every episode of the show. If I could turn back time, or whatever that song was.
That's very good.
Whatever that Cher song was, where she
was called Turn Back Time.
Auto-tuned.
Yeah. But frankly, we're not starting the new year in a blaze of glory. December might not have gone the way you thought it would. Maybe it went exactly as you thought it would, and you ate all the treats. But there are different ways to approach the new year, which I'm going to list now.
Oh, yeah, different types of New Year's people, which you're surprising me with.
So there are the people who are just like, okay, it's New Year. Nothing has changed. I'm still the same me.
Yeah.
What's going to make this year any different than last year?
Yeah.
Which is a great way to start the year, definitely.
That's the attitude.
There's the motivated, fresh start, clean slate. This is new me, new excitingness, super duper. It's nice to feel motivated.
Yeah.
It's nice to feel motivated today.
It's great.
Not dissing it, but it might be unreliable.
Not dissing it.
Do kids say that anymore?
No, clearly no. I can't,
really?
I can't imagine anyone still says dissing.
Our daughter said something the other day.
That's like a 40-year-old slang term. Do people still say it? That feels like groovy. Like,
really?
Yeah.
To diss it? I don't know.
Maybe,
Let us
maybe
know.
not. I don't know. We'll ask a teenager later.
We will. Our daughter doesn't want to talk to us about things.
Yeah, no. Clearly.
Anyway, okay. Then there are the conspiracy theorists.
Oh, yeah.
New Year is a Gregorian construct, man.
Yeah.
And it's just big pop-up kiosk at the mall calendar store. This is just the pop-up calendar store. It's all fake, man.
They're all aimed at me, by the way. I have 2 2023 calendars, ready to go to hang on the wall.
I love calendars. Someone actually, I saw something that said that, just letting you know, Catherine, I don't have a printer at home. Stop trying to send me printables because people our age don't have printers. That's not a thing
my
we do.
goodness.
So too bad.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it just didn't occur to me.
Like having a printer makes you old. It's terrible.
But then there's also the people who are like, this is just another day. I'm already rad and on track. And who cares? I don't need a new year to proclaim my goals. I am looking at you, Nicole. There, I said it. Nicole.
Whoa.
No, Nicole is an upholder. Our friend, dear friend of the show, is an upholder, and she just gets it done like Chopin does.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm calling out Nicole again, as I enjoy doing. She,
our good friend who you enjoy calling out.
Yeah, I forgot to change her name from the beginning, so it's just Nicole because that's what it is.
Yeah.
But she had posted on Facebook a while ago that she had over a year of daily Duolingo practice.
Oh yeah.
And I thought to myself, it must be nice to be Nicole.
Yeah.
She must be able to speak fluently in other languages. Must be nice. It's too late for me. And then why even bother?
That's
because
the
Nicole's
attitude.
already done it.
Yeah.
But we think about...
Your growth mindset is really coming along.
Yeah. But for 2 seconds, I must be nice to be Nicole. Boy, I don't have all that time. The 2 minutes a day it takes to do a Duolingo practice.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, wait a minute. I could take action to make that a priority in my life too. And so today we are here to remind you that just because you're behind other people or you're not maybe where you want to be, it doesn't mean that you can't start the new year off with a new goal for January.
Yeah, for sure. And when you think about it, you really should just be happy that Y2K didn't get us this year.
Oh my gosh.
Every year, January 1st, I wake up and I think this is the year Y2K is going to get us.
Some people listening might not even know what Y2K was.
Thankfully, it hasn't gotten us yet.
It was scary. Google it.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Exactly.
But going back to the Nicole thing, we'll just make it the Nicole theory. Going like, you know what? I'm going to do that too. I'm going to get the Duolingo badge and that's going to be great. And then what actually happened was when I was resentful of Nicole and then I said I was going to do it. And so I downloaded it and I put it on my phone and I did it for a day.
Yeah.
And then guess what?
Uh-oh. You forgot?
I've totally forgot about it because I didn't actually work it into my life. And then I got mad at Nicole again.
Yeah.
Getting angry at Nicole. But then I remembered I have a growth mindset and it's not about just wishing.
What a bummer having a growth mindset
It's not about a promise, is it, Donald?
No.
What does James Clear say about things like this?
Oh my goodness. James Clear says that soon is not a time and some is not a number.
Oh.
And you need to figure out when and where and for how long you're doing something.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You mean just making a promise to myself wasn't enough?
Yeah. James Clear, author of the book Atomic Habits, by the way, which is a really good book. I suggest reading it.
Yeah, so a promise is not a plan. Oh, I'm going to do what she did. I'm going to track every day. I'm going to run a 5K. It's not enough to just have the wish, but actually integrating it into our lives. And a lot of times in the new year, especially, we think that we're going to have, or, maybe this is what you want from us, a 12-month plan of how to, lead your life and get to that end goal again. But guess what? That's not really realistic, is it, Donald?
Yeah, and we think that we're going to wake up a lot of times and be new people, and oftentimes we will make New Year's resolutions, and it turns out that about 80% of New Year's resolutions get abandoned, and the majority of those are abandoned by February.
Yeah.
And some of them are abandoned on January 1st or 2nd.
Second, right. It's already too late.
And, you make these aspirations, and it's because they are aspirations and they're not plans. And many of them are unrealistic. Like, have you ever said to yourself, I'm going to go to the gym every day? And then maybe you do it for a week or 2 weeks or a month or even a couple of months, but then you skip a day. You're too tired or something happens or you get sick and you skip one day and you just feel like, oh, well, I missed a day, so now I've blown it. So I've ruined my whole progress. So then you just stop going. And just the gym is just one example of something that maybe that you've done. And you say to yourself, I'm going to do it every day, and you're like super rigid in your thought about it. And then one skip and you feel like it's all over, and why bother?
Right, because the world is colluding against you. And I think that is why I like to look at sort of habits and behaviors month by month, because when we have this grand scheme that we're going to do it 300 days a year, or, oh, wow, this person had a streak and I can hit that too. When we get disappointed, we're just selling ourselves short because we're looking at sort of the end prize that we imagine instead of focusing on the process and the kind of person that we're becoming.
Yeah. And the word resolution implies that there's no room for flexibility. Like, I am resolved. I am resolute to do this. And rigid. Going back to James Clear, he talks about even the most successful people slip up on their habits, but the thing that what makes them successful is that they have the ability to get back on track. So it's not about having enough willpower or motivation. It's about designing your environment for success.
Right. And I think part of it, and looking month by month, because speaking of gyms, thank you for talking about gyms.
You're welcome.
In September, I joined a gym, and I went something like 25 days that month, and it was rad. It was awesome. And then flash forward to November, we had some holidays, some things got in the way. And then December, we got COVID, and I didn't go to the gym once. And instead of seeing it as a personality flaw or failure, I recognize that not all seasons, whether they're literal seasons or blocks of time, are going to be the same. And the more we can look at just what's right in front of us instead of the whole year, the more emotionally successful I think we'll be. Now, there are some general things that we can predict, let's say for January.
Yeah.
Which is a month.
Oh, a month in your conspiracy Gregorian
calendar.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that in your life are predictable. There's work, there's school, there's sleep, there's food, there's basic tasks that need to happen. But then there are things that come up like our December: illnesses, emergencies, weather changes, and the least predictable thing of all, which is motivation.
Yeah.
And when we look at today, January 1st or 2nd or whatever day this is, when we look at that motivation and see it as proof that we're ready to really be committed, and then 2 days later the motivation is gone, we think we're broken, but we're not. And that's okay.
Yeah. And we've done a few episodes about motivation and how it's fleeting, and I will link to those in the show notes. But motivation is great while you have it, and you should ride it as long as you can. But for long-term success, it's about setting up processes that are sort of automatic in your life so that they don't rely on motivation, and that you do them whether you have the motivation or you don't.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I'm going to lay out some hard truths.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I don't like those. I like my truths soft, like my cheeses.
Okay. So meticulously planning out a whole month or a whole year is a fool's errand.
Whoa.
And sometimes we go, okay, it's a month. I should be able to do it every day for a month or whatever. But we know that things are going to get in the way. Being surprised that life gets in the way is short-sighted and leads to unnecessary disappointment.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot my lunch. Oh no, now I've got a thing on Friday night that I didn't know about. I can't go to the gym. The weather got in the way. Being surprised and being disappointed, that's on you, man, because we know.
Yeah, and look, I would do this for most of my adult life. I would make these plans, and I would feel like if I missed something one day, or if I messed up one thing, that it was over and I had blown it. And I know I'm going back to the thing I said earlier in this, but for decades, I went through this cycle of, I'm going to get it together. This is it. This is it. I've got this. I'm cruising along. And then I hit one stumbling block, and I just like crumbled and decided it was over, rather than just looking at that one stumbling block as a blip and getting right back on my bicycle, to mix my metaphors, and continuing on, and then when I realized that I could have these days or hours or even weeks at a time where I wasn't doing the things that I had promised myself I was going to do, and then I could get right back on it. That is when I had success in my life and have continued to have success.
Right. So like you were saying, rigidity leads to disappointment. And we can't control our results. We can't go, okay, well, I can guarantee you that I'm going to do Duolingo 300 days in a row. I'm going to do the gym 300 days in a row, whatever it is. But all we can control is the actions that we take and the mindset that we bring with us. So now that we've limbered you up in understanding hard truths, we're going to present you with a couple of solutions that might help you work on your goals this month.
Yeah, many New Year's resolutions, and they don't even have to be at New Year's, but many of our big aspirational goals, they fail because they just aren't specific enough. We have done an episode or two about SMART goals, SMART goals. And SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Meaning that rather than I want to lose 5 pounds or I want to lose 50 pounds, that's a very broad goal. Set a much more specific goal that will be one piece of trying to get you there. Like, I will get up every day and I will do 5-minute walk, like right after I put on my running shoes. Now, that is specific, it is measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it is time-bound. Like, you have tied it to right after I get up and put my shoes on. It's 5 minutes long. Certainly you can fit a 5-minute walk into your day. And that's just one example. And you put enough of those kind of SMART goals into your life, and they snowball upon one another.
Well, and 2, losing 5 pounds is the result of action.
Right.
It is something that you can't control how fast that's going to happen, but what you can control is the action steps you take toward the lifestyle you're working on building.
Absolutely. And the good news about this is that you don't have to figure out everything all at once.
Yeah.
Like, you start on specific things that you can do right now, and then you build upon those. And once you get in the habit of doing, 1 or 2 or 3 of these small things, then it feels good that you're able to do them, and it makes you want to add more and more. And eventually, like I said, it becomes this snowball rolling down that, a mountain that keeps gathering steam and becoming bigger and bigger until, suddenly, before you realize it, which is what happened to me, I'm doing lots and lots of things which just seemed impossible to me, a few years before.
Exactly. So if you're a poor speller like I am, and having SMART goals just seems like it might be too much, it's too many letters. I was actually thinking it would be really annoying if we did like resolution stands for R, E, effort. Like,
you're making me think there was a Simpsons thing where Bart's going like, I am so smart. SMRT.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, it's good.
But if letters are too much for you, if there are too many letters, wait, is it a Roman alphabet? What is our alphabet?
I don't know.
Gregorian alphabet?
Sure, Gregorian. I don't remember. It's not Greek. I know that much.
Exactly. So I present you with a few questions that you might be able to ask yourself as we start the new year. First, what feels important to you right now? If you're just doing a little scan to on how your mood is, how your body feels, how much energy you have, what feels important to make a change on right now? For me, I've been eating a lot of carbs over the holidays. I haven't been getting in as much activity as I had because I was sick. So for me right now, adding more fresh vegetables makes sense, and getting in more purposeful movement makes sense. So what appeals to you right now? The next question is, what small action can you get yourself to do?
This is a huge one.
Not the ideal, not the perfect, not the clean slate, montage, but what can you actually get yourself to add into your day that makes sense based on your current emotional state, energy level, and time of year, frankly. And part of that, and I know it's annoying, but that small action matters, because if suddenly you were eating, as I was, 25 to 3,000 calories a day over the Christmas break. If I said, okay, you know what? New year, new me, I'm going to go to 1,100 calories a day. Magically, like I've never done in my whole life and has never been sustainable.
Yeah.
When you come in really hot, which was another episode, it was actually called Coming in Hot, not coming in really hot.
Yeah.
But if you come in really hot and aggressive, it's probably not sustainable. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to say it is just simply not sustainable. So what small action can you actually get yourself to do that you want to do? Not what's ideal, but what you actually can get yourself to do. And then finally, and this kind of goes into the SMART thing, we won't get into letters again.
Speaking of letters, I had our crack research team do a deep dive into this, and apparently it's the Latin alphabet.
The Latin alphabet?
English and Spanish and lots of other languages based on the Latin alphabet.
Isn't it the Romance alphabet? Oh, no, those are languages. Never mind. That's for February.
Yeah, you and I speak the Romance alphabet.
Ew. Gross.
The look on your face again.
Oh, horrifying. So the final question mark, is how can you actually integrate it into your day-to-day life? And this ties into what Donald was saying. It's not enough for me to say, I am going to do Duolingo every day. That week where I didn't do it made me realize that it needs to be, as Donald said, it needs to be time specific, place specific, and really like integrated into your life, not just a dream. So for me, it's when can I do it? What anchor moment in my day do I make it a priority? So for me, I decided that my anchor moment was when I sit on the couch with my cup of coffee, I will open my app and do Duolingo.
And this might be the most important thing to figure out is what your prompt is going to be to take something from BJ Fogg and his Tiny Habits. And I'm sitting next to a Tiny Habits certified coach. And, figuring out what it's going to be. A lot of things for me, I have calendar reminders that go off and they fire and it makes me remember to do things. But there are plenty of other things that I have to set up, like you have to put your bag in a certain place to remember to take it every day, or you have to put things in a certain area, or, it has to be something that you do every day, and it has to be something that's going to remind you to do this thing that you want to do all the time.
Well, and two, one of the drawbacks of a calendar reminder or an alarm that goes off is, let's say, for example, the alarm for change the cat litter goes off when you're at the grocery store.
Right.
That is not the prompt that you need at the grocery store because you can't actually act on it. When you focus on an anchor moment, when I walk into the kitchen, when I put on my running shoes, after I brush my teeth, when I sit down on the couch with my cup of coffee, which I guarantee you is a daily activity, that it becomes a reminder to you to take that action. So again, when are you going to do it? Where are you going to do it? How much are you going to do? Starting out with those small steps of 5 minutes or the 3-minute Duolingo practice instead of I'm going to go to Italy and embrace I'm going to eat, pray, love like Julia Roberts did. Exactly. Like that's not realistic. But 3 minutes on the couch with a cup of coffee, that I can do. And then what policies can you put in place to help yourself with your new aspirations? I have policies about not having sweets until after dinner. I have policies about not having soda at home, but rather saving it for special occasions. I only have bagels when I get my haircut. We have done lots of episodes on that, but having some policies in place that can help as sort of bumper guards to help you toward your goal is really important. It's not about perfection. It's not about like, I'm going to learn 500 words in Italian by the end of January. It's not about an accumulation of, stars or goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who invests in yourself.
Yeah, and I just reread some James Clear, so I took some notes for some things that I thought would be relevant to this, and one of the things he says is just because it's not big or grand or ideal doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Focus on progress rather than perfection. And I think this is a problem with human beings, in a lot of circumstances, not just with health and fitness goals, but they say to themselves, I can't do the perfect thing, so I'm going to do nothing at all.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, I would go for a 1-hour run today, but I only have time to do 10-minute run, so I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what you can do. And part of what really has worked for me is looking at your situation, and rather than saying like, I can't do this, say to yourself, I can work with this.
Ooh, dang.
This is something
that's a bop.
I can work with.
Is that a bop? Sorry.
Sure. Yes, it slaps. It's a song that slaps. Yes. Where I'm trying to bring our slang.
Yeah. Update the slang
from rad and dis into
oh my gosh,
into
you
bop
can
and slap.
Tear rad out of my cold dead hands. Frankly,
it's fair. That's fair. Rad is pretty rad to say. But say to yourself, in addition to saying that things are rad, say that you can work with this. Figure out what you can do with what you have. And focus on that rather than focusing on what you can't and what the perfect ideal thing is that is out of your reach.
That does bop and snap. Wait, no.
Slap. Yeah.
That really is like that. You've inspired me. I know I sound snarky all the time, but really like that whole I can't. Okay, well, what can you do?
Yeah.
And for those of you who are not enjoying this episode because there's not enough action in it or there's not enough intensity, how did Impatience go for you last year?
Yeah.
How did it go? Let us know. How did it go?
Yeah.
Probably not so good.
Yeah. And think about all of the times where you dove, wholeheartedly into something and you bought all of the gear and you paid for all of the plans, and then a month later you ran out of steam on it, or you went to 1,100 calories, or you went to a gym 5 times a day, and how long that really lasted in your life. And think about, if that didn't work for you, maybe try the step-by-step approach.
Well, and as we finish up here, like I said, this isn't about collecting points or rewards or, like, I know, Donald, those are big motivators for you in the world.
If there's something where I can get points for it, I'm all about it.
But what we're doing is working on our identities. We become the kind of people we aspire to be by doing the things that person does, investing in ourselves day by day in small ways. This isn't a gimmick. This isn't a, get thin quick thing. There's no finish line here, which we've talked about before. It's about becoming a more authentic version of ourselves. And that requires small investments day by day. We're not day traders trying to Bitcoin bop things. We're looking at long-term investments, and it can be boring, but it's so worth it. You are worth it. You are worth the investment. And really take a moment to congratulate yourselves on all of the small wins that you'll gain over the next month with these small investments. You matter, and we are proud of you for showing up.
Absolutely. And we are proud of you for listening to this episode. And you can listen to all of our episodes wherever you found this one. We are available on all of the major podcast platforms. And you can also find our episodes, all of them, over 250. Oh, hey, actually think this is our 5-year anniversary episode, by the way.
Is it?
I think so. It's either this one or the next one.
All right. Well, we'll
figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
And we'll pretend it's the next one, so
sure,
we can make a bigger deal out of it. And you can find all of our episodes, about 5 years worth of them, on our website anytime at weonlylookthin.com.
Yep. And if you are at weonlylookthin.com, now might be a perfect time to take a small action and click on that link for Join Our Support Group. To find out more about WOLT Place, We Only Look Thin Place is a Facebook-based accountability group for women. We are not a weight loss plan, but we are a place for support and accountability. And it's really judgment-free. We have people doing Weight Watchers and calorie tracking and intuitive eating. Everything is about support and cheering one another on, but also being challenged too in a safe environment.
Well, and plus you get direct access to Catherine Weigel, who can answer your questions and coach you along, which is one of the best features of the group.
Thank you. We have 2 subscription options, a monthly option with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if WOLT Place is right for you.
So check it out. And if you would like to interact with us in other ways, we are on the social medias, as the kids say. We are at We Only Look Thin on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can also send us an email. We still have that technology at our disposal.
We have the technology.
You can ask us questions. You can give us episode suggestions. We have turned many listener emails into episodes of this show. And you can reach us at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you have a couple of extra minutes and you can head over to Apple Podcast, please do leave us a rating and or a review.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Not only does it boost our space algorithms for the internet to help other people find us when they're looking for podcasts like ours, not only does it give us a better position when people are searching for health and fitness podcasts on Apple, but it also helps us know that what we're doing really makes a difference. So it would be super duper appreciated if you could head over there.
Yes, indeed. And it would also be super duper appreciated if you would tell somebody about the show. Word of mouth is really one of the best ways that the show grows. So if you know somebody who might like the show, or if you're in an online group, a Reddit group, a Facebook group, a TikTok group, whatever the kids are into these days. Man, I'm really concerned about what the kids are into these days.
A bop slap group?
A bop slap group, yeah. If you're listening to a song that slaps, a bop that slaps, and you decide to tell somebody about the show, we would be grateful.
Yep.
So if you still can't decide whether Y2K should be dissed or whether it was rad, just remember that Catherine and I are an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.